An historic speech in Canada's Parliament today by U.S. President Joe Biden in his first trip to Ottawa as president. He told the House of Commons that Canada and the United States should reach into the future with a united friendship, economy, and commitment to democracy. At the same time, Biden and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced joint agreements on some big issues. Al Sweeney is covering this story and joins us with the latest. Al.
He talked about how much Americans love Canadians. He said there's actually a poll showing Canadians are Americans' favorite foreigners. And he spoke about cultural, social, and economic ties between the two countries.
Good afternoon. Bonjour, Canada.
After apologizing for his French to the special session of the House of Commons, Biden talked about the extensive connections between Canada and the U.S.
Americans and Canadians are two people, two countries, in my view, sharing one heart.
He spoke about a strong Canada-U.S. economy leading to the security of both countries, with the same aspirations of freedom, dignity, and democracy in the face of threats like Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
The world needs Canada and the United States working together with our partners around the world to rally strong and effective global action. Nowhere is that more obvious than in our united response to Russia's brutal aggression against Ukraine.
On a practical level, the two leaders held a news conference and announced they've reached an agreement to close the immigration loophole that allowed migrants to cross the border into Canada over the infamous Roxham Road in Quebec, with thousands then being sent to hotels in Niagara Falls.
After midnight tonight, police and border officers will enforce the agreement and return irregular border crossers to the closest port of entry with the United States.
Niagara Falls Mayor Jim Diodati says the new measure will work eventually, but his city still needs help taking care of the migrants.
It's going to take a while to catch up to the problem. I think in the meantime, there's going to be a rush for the border, until this is officially implemented, and there's probably a lot of people in caravans on their way here.
In his speech, Biden also indicated he's concerned, just like many Canadians, about China expanding its influence in the West, first with a slip of the tongue.
So today, I applaud China for stepping up. I applaud Canada. You can tell what I'm thinking about China. I won't get into that yet.
Then praising the two Michaels, Canadians who were held captive in China in what was seen as a political dispute.
And I'm very glad to see the two Michaels, Michael Scarborough and Michael Covering, they're safely back to their families after more than 1,000 days. 1,000 days in detention.
With examples like the Chinese balloon that flew over Western Canada and the United States before it was shot down, Biden said Canada and the U.S. have to work together on Pacific and Arctic security. He also talked about the common love of sports in Canada and the U.S., except maybe for a certain hockey team.
Hockey. Listen to this, hockey. I have to say, I like your teams except the Leafs.
There were a number of other announcements from the two leaders today, like $420 million to help restore the Great Lakes and international measures against opioids and addiction. And there was a notable moment in the House of Commons as the Prime Minister introduced Biden. Prime Minister Trudeau acknowledged Dofasco and its workers in Hamilton. He singled out a worker who comes from a Hamilton steelmaking family.
See, we're also joined today by steel workers from Dofasco in Hamilton. One of them is Neil. Why don't you stand up, Neil? Now, with the investments we've made to help Dofasco phase out coal-fired steelmaking in favor of electric arc, Neil's kids and grandkids and great-grandkids will be able to choose careers making the clean steel the world needs to build EVs, buildings, and bridges. Clean steel will be the backbone for manufacturing in the future, and workers like Neil, from generations past to generations future, will continue to be at the heart of the economy we're building for the middle class.
So the Prime Minister will hold a dinner for the President tonight as the last major event of this visit.